Welcome to the Sacred Emergence Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Wong, and I'm so thrilled that you're here. This is a place where you'll be guided to living your most aligned life so that your truest, most radiant self can emerge. We'll be jamming on topics ranging from spirituality, entrepreneurship, to wellness and lifestyle design, and everything in between that can support you to grow, evolve, and shine, all the while not taking ourselves too seriously. So if you're ready to step into your leadership, break through limiting beliefs, own all of who you are, and expand in abundance, grab yourself your faith cup of tea and let's dive in. Hello. Welcome to Sacred Emergence. It's Michelle Wong. This episode is Big Dreams in HD, episode 3. So if you are tuning in for the first time, welcome. And if you're not aware, I am doing a mini series through Facebook Lives around my journeys of potential travels and combining that with my human design and integrating it like a story and things that I'm seeing, that I'm witnessing. So today's episode 3, is it's a recording of the Facebook Live that I did earlier this month in January of 2021. And the topic of this one is all around my Manifestor vibes. So enjoy this episode. If you have questions around like human design, if you want to get a reading, I do offer readings and HD embodied, which is more around after you have a reading, embodying your human design. So I offer guidance and mentorship around that. And if you do want to watch the actual live Facebook or the Facebook Live that I did as a recording, sometimes it's nice to see it on visual. I'll have a link in my show notes that links to that directly, as well as more resources for human design if you want to get a reading or dive deeper in the whole human design world. So enjoy this episode and chat soon. Hello friends. Oh my goodness. I meant to tell a few people that I am doing my live, but let me just do this really quick. Hold on, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. How are you all? Happy Wednesday night. For those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, it's Michelle Wong here coming to you live for Big Dreams in HD. So excited. Okay, so it's been a while since I've given some updates. So for those of you who don't know, I'm doing a free travel mini-series around my journeys of upcoming potential travels and tying in human design as well. Ooh, that's a lot brighter. That's better. And so tying in human design along with potential travels. And I say potential because everything keeps changing by the minute. Border regulations, restrictions, visa stuff, blah, blah, blah. And so it's almost like it's an emotional game. And if you're catching the after party, hashtag after party, if you're tuning in live, please say hello. My work is around human design. And so I want to kind of tie in how I'm embodying my human design, or even facing with all the shadows of my chart, so that you have a better idea of like how human design is so helpful. And so for those of you who don't know, back in May of last year, so I shared this in episode 1, so you can check that out. I shared back in May that the seed got planted. Hello, Emily. Thank you for the bubbles. So good to see you. So yeah, back in May, I had this seed planted of potentially doing some international travels. And then, with the whole pandemic and stuff, like there was just no way. So, but the idea was planted. And then last year in December, my coach and mentor, Jana, I was just feeling so blah one day. Well, not one day. I was just feeling so blah. And I was telling her if it wasn't for what's happening around the world right now, I'd totally be traveling. Hello, Amy. So good to see you. Thanks for tuning in, babe. Yay. So, I am sharing I love your moon phases behind you. Thank you. Thank you. It's a gift from a friend. It's clay, and, so you can see all of it. There we go. Thanks for that, and awesome that you're able to identify that. So what was I saying? Okay, so travel vibes. Last December, I was feeling so blah, and I was just telling my mentor, like, she didn't even know this, but I wrote down in my planner that morning, like, if it wasn't for what's happening around the world, I'd totally be traveling. And I didn't tell her that, but I wrote it down, and I was telling her how blah I was feeling, and she's like, I see you in Bali. Like, I see you in Bali. And I was like, oh. Anyway, so that really started the momentum, the kickoff of, okay, let's really make this happen. And at that time, Bali was closed, not letting people in, so I thought. And I did some more research, and it looked like Thailand was actually opening up. And I infuse human design. So my human design energy type is a manifestor. And let me know what, if you follow human design. If you don't know what human design is, Google it. And if you know your human design, please share with me your type, what authority you are, if you know your profile. So I'm a 4/6 ego manifestor, and one of like my strategy as a manifestor, strategy is how you're designed to really flow in the world, to have more flow and less resistance. It's how you're energetically geared, right? So I'm designed to inform. I'm designed to tell people what's up, because my energy is actually very closed. You can't really read me. And informing is just so counterintuitive. Like, the last thing I want to do is tell people what's up. And it's all conditioning, because in the past it didn't feel safe to inform. Like, people are going to try to stop me. That's a lot of fears that manifestors have. 5-1 man Jen. Amy, I love it. I love it. I love it. Of course you are. I mean, I knew that. I've done Amy's chart. So yeah, I do human design readings, and I do like coaching and mentorship around embodying your design. So for me, informing is so counterintuitive. So I didn't want to tell people that I was actually going to be traveling. I wasn't even going to tell people until I was on the plane, because I'm like, well, what if it doesn't work? And like, why bring people on this journey with me if it's not going to happen? And like, why even do that? But my mentor was like really encouraging me, Jonna Kingsford. She was really encouraging me. She's like, if you want to have people like join you on the, like, that's exciting. And she was basically telling me to inform. And so I had so much resistance to informing. And so I shared in my first video what happened when I informed and when I told people. And it actually was really beautiful. So now I decided to create a little series to bring you all on the journey with me. So this is episode 3. And so here's the thing. I don't know what's happening with travels at the moment. Thailand is pretty much, a lot of their provinces are in lockdown, and their visa that I was interested in getting is super complicated. It's expensive. There is a 2 weeks required quarantine, which that's the easy part. I feel like suffering the 2 weeks of quarantine is the easy part, but like the financial component, it's pretty complicated. And because everything's in lockdown, I don't even think I can meet anybody. Like, I can't really meet new friends. Everything is just in lockdown. So, you know, I think they're not allowing for places for gatherings. So I'm like, okay, so if I go to Thailand, even Bangkok, I'll basically be like at home on my computer. Like, I could do that here. So it's like Thailand is, I haven't crossed off Thailand yet. But when I learned that Bali is actually open through a special visa, I was like, oh, well, this is interesting. 6 years ago, I was in Bali for 2 months, and I basically, this is like a 2.0 version. So I basically, 6 years ago, I put everything in storage, I quit my job, and I went to Bali for 2 months. I was so burned out on my job. And at that time, I knew nothing about human design, but Manifestor is not designed to be in corporate world, really, unless you have autonomy. And so anyway, so fast forward to now, there's just, the stakes are higher. And Bali has actually closed down their borders to basically everybody, to foreigners. They have, because they are getting new cases. And what else was there? Yeah, so visas have stopped being processed until the end of January. So I'm keeping my eyes open. I have no idea what, but if Bali is going to open its doors again, priority number 1 is Bali, because I've been there. I know people there. And I just feel like it's gonna feel good to go back. After I left Bali the first time, I was like, I feel complete. But there are places that I actually didn't go to when I was in Bali, and now that like the circumstances have changed, Bali over Thailand at the moment, and who knows what other countries will open up between now and the end of January. So that's a little update on travels. And okay, so there's that, right? And then there's the personal life of resistance. So much resistance to actually taking action, regardless of what's happening, right? So there's things that I could do to be in action to help me prep for potential moves. Thanks, Amy. I know, it's so exciting. And at the same time, I have not hit so much resistance. Like 6 years ago when I decided I was going to go to Bali, there wasn't much resistance. It was like, I cannot wait. I'm tired of my job. I need to get out of Dodge. Like, let's go. I even signed up for a 1-week retreat in Bali. This time around, I'm not really running away or escaping anything. I'm not burned out. You know, things are great actually in terms of like my online community and my business. Like things are great. I just need like something else. I just need something else. And so there's not like a huge motivating factor to push me to go, except wouldn't it be fun, right? And so wouldn't it be fun? I was so excited when my coach and I were talking about it, and then now I'm hitting so much resistance because I'm not escaping anything. And so now it's like really putting my desires forward. So one of the things I think that was so huge in my resistance is because I have a lot more stuff this time around. This couch that I'm sitting on, I have a expensive, beautiful mattress. It was a huge investment for me, and I cannot lay that mattress on its side. So basically I cannot put it in storage. Oh, look at you go, beauty. Hello, Flick. Ah! Like I'm just sharing my adventures of travel and so much resistance. So yeah, I have an expensive mattress that I spent a crap ton of money for. It was over 4 digits, okay? And I cannot put it in storage. So I'm like, and I love my mattress. So I was like, I don't want to sell my mattress, but it's also really, really heavy. And then I had this couch, and then, I don't know, I've just accumulated more stuff by living in this place for 5 years, Airbnb. Like Airbnb this space instead. That's not a bad idea, except I don't own my space, I rent. And my landlady is likely, I don't know what her plans are. Another motivating factor for me of traveling is because she likely will sell her place. She doesn't know, but I live in her bottom unit. It's a separate entrance, mother-in-law. And so I'm like, if she kicks me out, like I really don't want to sign another lease in Seattle. I explored different options. Like I'm not feeling like I want to sign another lease and then have to move and all the things. So my heart was really telling me to do some travels. So anyway, I had a lot of resistance, and there were things that I but I wanted to sell. Like I had like this old iPad that I just wanted to get rid of it. So I wanted to sell that. I have a massive like food dehydrator. It's like a professional food dehydrator that I carried around with me. I've had it for like how many years? I've had it for probably like 6-7 years. I've used it maybe like for a month, and I spent over $200 on it. And you know, it's heavy. It takes up so much room that it's not even in my kitchen. It's been in my storage. And like when I went to Bali the first time, I had my friend store it, this big food dehydrator. And I took it back after I moved back to Seattle, and it's still in storage. And I'm like, I need to get rid of that. And then I bought like myofascial release balls, you know, those massage balls. I used to host workshops. I used to teach Pilates. I was trained in using those balls for, you know, clients, Pilates clients. And so I bought a whole bunch of them. But now that I'm not offering workshops and studios aren't really open, I'm like, I don't know, like I need to get rid of these balls. So I have a lot of things I need to sell, regardless of if I'm traveling or not. And again, so much resistance to being in action. And my whole point of this is like, it's all mental challenges that come up. And so I hired Vivi Dom, who is adventure explorer fairy. She's all about evolving and exploring. And so I hired her to just help me with travel stuff. She's amazing. And she was like, okay, well, if you want to sell your stuff, what date are you going? She's wanting to keep me accountable. She's like, if you want to sell it, like, what's the date you're going to sell it? And I'm like, don't give me, like, I don't want that. Like, don't tell me what date. Like, I don't know, like, when I feel good. And so, like, I don't know what it is, but like so much resistance. And so I had to like break it down. So I'm in Melanie Ann Layer's Alpha Femme experience, and she talks about being the badass, be the boss, right? If you say you're gonna do it, freaking do it. And so selling my stuff, I had that on my calendar for the weekend that just passed, so on Saturday. Hey Greg, so good to see you, Greg. I had it on my calendar to sell stuff, and I like procrastinated. And I was like, you know what? I'll do it today. Today it's sunny in Seattle, so I'm just gonna take photos as step one. Okay, I'll just do that, and then we'll see if I end up posting it. But I feel like the whole thing of having to sell it is such a big mental block. I'll just take photos. So around noon today, I was like, fine, I'll do it. I took a photo of all my iPad. I took a photo. I carried out my food dehydrator. It was so heavy and awkward. It's like really like big. I was like, okay, and I cleaned it. I cleaned everything. I took photos, and then I posted it up on Facebook and on Craigslist. And then I was like, oh, I should also take photos of my myofascial release balls. So I have like 20 of them. So I took photos of those too, posted up on Craigslist and Facebook. And then next thing you know, I started getting pings. And I'm like, oh my God, really? And like the iPad was so interesting. There were people like negotiating this iPad and asking me all these questions that I didn't know how to answer. Like, I don't know. Like, I already factory reset it. Like, I don't know. I don't know what iOS is on there. I'm not going to turn it on and figure that out. So anyway, somebody pings me, is like, I want it, $35. Let's do this. I'm like, oh, he's like, are you free tonight? I was like, yes. So I did. I met up with him and he Venmo'd me, and I was like, sweet, check. And then I came home, and then I get another email. Somebody wants to buy my food dehydrator. And I was like, really? He didn't even try to negotiate price. He's like, that sounds great. Can you meet tonight? I was like, yes. And I met with him, money in the bank. And I was like, oh my God, this feels so good. And I'm just like, I'm feeling so good. And like, I feel lighter physically, and there's more money in my bank. And I was like, what the hell was I resisting? And what I wanted to say is like, Manifestor, like, when we finally are in our action and we have the urge to do something, things just happen, and things just happen. Like that was less than like 6 hours ago, and I'm a little bit richer. Yes, Amy, amazing. I know. And so when I came home, I was like, okay, these myofascial release balls, they're going to be a pain. I don't know who's going to want them, because I'm trying to sell them either the whole thing, 20 sets of them, or half of it. Like 10, right? I don't want to sell one at a time. It's going to take forever. Especially people are like trying to haggle me on like, you know, $15 item, which on the market it's 40. Anyway, so I came home after this is like less than 30 minutes ago, and I get another ping, and this lady, she's like, hey, I live really close. I work at this massage place. I'm interested. Can we chat tomorrow? And I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. So anyway, so here's my tip. Here's like big dreams in human design, big dreams in HD. Regardless of if this trip is happening, the big lesson here is like, these are all things I could have done earlier, should have done earlier. And I was in resistance mode. And the only thing that made it easier for me to be in action was just to take the first step. Taking photos was the easiest. Like once I had it on my phone, I was like, I do not want to have all of these photos hanging on my phone, taking up memory. So I need to get rid of them. And so it was just easy once I had the photos to write up the description, put it on Facebook, copy paste, put it on Craigslist. And now I'm lighter and got more money in my bank. So that felt really good. And I just feel like now the only thing I need to sell is my mattress. The mattress is a little bit bigger. it's also a lot heavier. I cannot meet someone, so the person's gonna have to come in and move it on their own. However, that is going to happen once I have my visa in hand. No visa, no selling of mattress. So I won't know until the end of January if the Bali visa is, if they're going to open their doors to allow for foreigners to apply, to come in. What's more complicated about this visa is that it's better if I hire an agency to help me process the visa. It's a little bit more expensive, but it just feels like suddenly things have become a little bit easier because I'm taking like bite-sized action. And for me, like as a manifestor, I think the biggest thing is I was resisting it forever until I just felt ready, until like my energy was ready. And once I was ready, things started just rolling. And so sometimes like I think back to like, well, what if I did it earlier? What if I started earlier in January? I don't know. I don't know if it would have sold as quickly. Like back in July, I tried to sell up my guitar and oh my God, people were haggling me like $20. Like, oh, can you sell it for me for $20 less and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I don't want to move for haggling. This is already cheap. And so like I ended up not selling it and I still don't know if I'm going to sell it. But because I love that guitar. I mean, I don't know how to play the guitar. I got it in high school. My dad bought it for me. So I've been carrying it around with me for like over 20 years with this guitar that I don't know how to play. And I'm not going to learn how to play it because I don't want to develop callus for it. So I'm not ready to sell it though. And that's probably why it didn't sell, because energetically I wasn't aligned. But I think today I was like, it's up there. I did it, took the action, manifestor energy. So that all showed up and aligned. So anyway, that's my update. Yes. Oh, yeah. I was gonna say for Thailand, the reason why I was so excited. So in episode 2 of the series, I talked a bit about my profile, my 4/6 profile, and how things really come to me through my network. And part of the process for the Thailand visa was pretty complicated, but I thought I was able to, because I have a connection in Thailand, I thought I was able to have a workaround with one of their requirements. And then I emailed the US Embassy because the Canadian Embassy gave me something totally different in terms of their answer. But the US Embassy was like, no, you cannot do that. So I could not use my connections in Thailand to help me out with one of the visa requirements. And I'm like, this is going to be even more complicated and more expensive. So that's why Thailand is on the back burner and is priority 2 versus Bali, which is priority 1. So that's the vibe currently. I feel like once visas in hand, things are going to go a lot smoother because I feel like in terms of storing my stuff, I have 2 people who have storage space that they are allowing me to use, and I feel like I probably don't need to rent storage. So that's my 4/6 profile coming in. If you have a 4 line in your profile, a lot of things come to you through your network. And so yeah. And Amy, you were sharing that your profile, let me scroll back up. You're a 5/1, yeah. So Amy, for you, you're all, I mean, we've had a reading together, but your profile is all around with the 5. It's really around like just making bigger connections, like more, it's less like networky style. It's more like bigger impact through more people. So it's a little bit different. But yeah, it doesn't mean you're not here to make relationships and stuff and foster connection. It's just that you have a bigger impact with your connections, you know, like with your reach, right? It's through like, it's less about the intimacy of connections. It's more about your bigger reach. FYI, in case you're wondering, since you shared your profile. So anyway, that's what I have for you. To be continued. I'm still in it. Sometimes it's an emotional roller coaster. Sometimes I'm like, with all of that, what's going on, I'm like, why am I even doing this? So I don't know, like maybe at the end of the day, the whole lesson in all this is sell your stuff, Michelle. And then I stay in Seattle. Who knows? But hopefully, since I'm bringing you all along on my journey, that adventure traveling will happen. But in the meantime, I'll keep you all posted. I'm keeping my eyes out on what's happening in the islands, the countries, Southeast Asia, and all of that. So thank you so much. You're welcome, Amy. Have a beautiful night. Let me know if you have any questions, and more soon. Cheers! Join our free private Facebook group community, Sacred Emergence, to receive more connection, guidance, and support, and take part in our 5-day Inner Confidence Challenge to not only boost your confidence, but to help activate your inner leadership. Details in the show notes. Thank you for listening to the Sacred Emergence podcast. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and thank you in advance for sharing this with others who can benefit. Until next time.